Here's Drew Kaiser now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. Taken from just outside the 30. An excellent return that time, 26 yards. And the Texans with great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. On 1st down, it's Watson. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. A good pick up there of 20 yards. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this. Or keeps hitting the calculator, but my goodness, what a...
And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. DeAndre Hopkins in the final seconds of the first half. And the Texans will extend their lead.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
They begin with Henry. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. There you have it. Halftime quickly over. 3rd quarter, here we go.
And that's where this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time, forces some indecision in the backfield. He's going to wind up being taken down for a nice loss.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Titans offense now, they work their way back onto the field. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. Off play action to Henry. Here's Mariota. And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
Now, the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Throwing is Mariota. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Andre Howe. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is it allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
Now it's Watson. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Well, let's see who this is on. Clearly wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
So now it's 3rd and long, because remember, they also lose a down on the grounding call. shotgun snap for Watson. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38.
Brandon, what I remember most about playing with guys who knew how to rush the passer, they would just tell you, just cover people for me, just long enough for me to get there. And that's exactly what happened on that play.
So put another 3 on the board. All things considered, a good opening drive to begin the third quarter.
And as a defense, the way that this game is going, you're excited to see those points go on the board. Gives them a little bit of leeway to play with when they're out on the field, but they're real excited to see their offense score. Now they get to go out there and do their part.
And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. They are right now just ice cold. I mean, they have struggled big time in this game, and they're getting blown out. How do they adjust?
So tough because we always talk about it being a team game, and you need all 11 working well together. But every now and then, partner, you need that one guy who can make a play against all odds that maybe can ignite things. And I think that's what they're looking for right now.
Yeah, you talk about going to your playmakers. They probably need to do it.
Find someone that you're used to touching the football that makes big plays and give them that opportunity to maybe wake up everyone else.
Forced out to his left. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. Trying to get their tight end involved finally. That's the first time that they've looked his way. He's kind of been a forgotten man in this offensive scheme.
Yeah, didn't look his way at all in the first half. And I'll bet you the offensive coordinator made a note at the half and said, let's get him involved because he could be a big-time playmaker for us.
Now a shot taken on third down, but it's going to wind up incomplete. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up fourth down. Averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. Pulled in at the 24. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. Here's Watson now on second down. Oh, the ball is out. Watson lost it. But I think a Texan player was able to get his hands on it, and they will indeed hold on to the ball and the possession.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
He's able to chew up 8 yards on the carry there, but still fourth down upcoming. The Texans send the punter out. And the way this offense has moved the ball, he hasn't been needed till here in the third. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Now this is fielded in the end zone. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Titans will be backed up deep to begin the drive as they take over 1st and 10. The Titans offense now, they get set to head back out here. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that. Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
And now a first chance for the backup here to throw. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back at the 2.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Going up top. And the defense has it covered. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 35.
Well, Brandon, there's no question who they're going to look to on 3rd and long, but you can bet this defense knows that as well, so they've got him blanketed downfield. And this ball winds up being intercepted.
A carry for Foreman. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Watson now to throw on 2nd down. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. Give them 5 on the screen play, and that'll set up a 3rd down. The Texans on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Out of the gun, Watson. And incomplete here on 3rd down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So 3 field goals that he's hit now. This last one helps him stretch out the lead.
He's been solid, hasn't he? And he lives up to the adage that every offensive coach has ever said to us. We want to end every possession with a kick, right? For them, it's either extra point, field goal, or at worst, a punt. In this case, it's been 3s.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And they will score a pick 6 for the Texans TD. This D wanted to put it away before we even get to the 4th quarter, widening that margin a bit further.
And while they won't just empty the bench just yet, if you're a backup, start loosening up. I think you'll get a chance to play before this one is over now with that type of a cushion.
So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Here's the Titan offense now as they make their way back onto the field. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point.
Here we go now.
To throw on 2nd down. Weeks. And his throw here is incomplete. Josh Gordon, the intended receiver. And that'll make it 3rd down.
So this is what happens when you throw interceptions. That confident veneer that you have gets chipped away a little bit. Maybe a little bit gun-shy throwing it around.
Yeah, underthrowing him there, and you're right. Those interceptions maybe in the back of his mind. Back to throw. Weeks. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jadeveon Clowney. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year. Here's Drew Kaiser now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. So that'll be marked down as a 19-yard punt. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Now Foreman. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, But that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. 2nd and 10 now from the 27. They'll run with Foreman, and he'll be brought down on what's going to turn out to be the final play of this third quarter. The Texans on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Now Watson, operating from the gun. To the left side here for Eifert. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. Here comes Andrews. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. The Titans offense now, they get ready to do battle again here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm?
And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Akello Witherspoon. And they will score a pick 6 for the Texans TD. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
Here comes Andrews. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. Detroit! They'll run it now out of the gun. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here.
Partner, I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking when those big behemoths start to create space for you up front. He did a pretty good job of just following those guys through there for a nice explosive run.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Weeks. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. The offense on 3rd down tonight, a very anemic, 1 for 9 thus far. They're looking at 3rd in the nose of the football. They'll try to run for the first with Henry.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They keep it with Henry on 1st down. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Watch it now, Barney! Here we go!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. Another 2-yard gain there, but they'll need to do better this time. It's 3rd and 6.
Early down stuff's to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
He'll give up 6 yards there on the loss, and it'll bring up 4th down. Here's Drew Kaiser now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. And the Texans set to come onto the field. The outcome of this one, well, we know who's going to win it. It's just all window dressing at this point. Got me thinking, what's the biggest blowout that you've been a part of as a player, broadcaster?
No, I'm not going to go to the player part because when I think blowout...
Because you won every game as a player.
No. I think about being blown out. And no one wants to go back to those memories. But, you know, when I was calling college football, I saw a game that, you know, a team put 70. I actually saw it happen twice. A team put 70 on their opponent. And in the NFL, in the 2017 season, I saw one of those changing of the guard games where a team that hadn't been very good before now is dominating and kicking around a team who had been ruling their division.
And that's when you earn your paycheck, right? As the analyst, you got to fill that time.
You've got to know what's going on out there and how it all happened.
Well, obviously, that begs the question, what game was it?
That was Seattle hosting Los Angeles, the Rams.
Yeah.
Their second meeting of the season, and the Rams turned it around from the first one and blew out the Seahawks.
And a 5-yard gain as he's down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Time for a break. This one, all over but the shouting. We'll finish it after this. Here's Foreman. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a 4-yard pickup, and that'll make it 3rd and 1.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
He'll have a 1st down inside the 10. And he's hauled away down to the 6-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up 2nd and goal. And the ball smack dab on the 5-yard line. Here's 2nd and goal. He's going to get it running right. And he'll take this for a short gain on what will prove to be the final play of this ball game. So, Charles, it's one thing to